Day of the Diesels. It was a beautiful day on the island of Sodor. The sun shone brightly. Thomas and Percy were enjoying a ride in the country. Their steam floated, fluffy and white, into the cloudless sky. But as they chugged around a corner, Thomas and Percy gasped. There was black smoke on the horizon. They raced to find out what was the matter. Not a barbecue, is it? Bells rang! Ding 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 ding! Sirens whined! Roar! Just adding the effects for suspense. An old farm shed was ablaze. Flames flickered and flashed into the sky. Eager to help, Thomas and Percy let firefighters and farmhands take buckets of water from their tanks. "We must put out this fire," said Sir Topham Hatt. "We'll do our best," peeped Thomas. But the fire rose higher, and the engines were running out of water. Suddenly, a new engine named Belle arrived. She was big and blue. Her brass bell banged and clanged. Ding, 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 ding. "Buffer up, Belle!" shouted Sir Topham Hatt. "We need your water!" Water shot from two spouts high on Belle's water tanks. The flames fizzled and crackled and went out. Yay for Belle! Belle was low on water, so Thomas and Percy had to help her to the steamworks. Victor and Kevin gave Belle special care because she was a hero. "I've never seen a blue fire engine before," Kevin said. I kind of like Kevin, he's funny. "That's because I'm not a real fire engine," Belle peeped. "You are a really useful engine, Belle," said Sir Topham Hatt. "But we need a real fire engine." Belle had an idea. "Sir, you need Flynn the fire engine. He's fast and fearless. He's a real hero." Thomas and Percy gasped. Victor wheezed and Kevin wobbled. "Quite right, Belle," Sir Topham Hatt agreed. "Flynn will come to Sodor. He will be our fire engine." The next day, Thomas took Belle on a tour of the island of Sodor. First they visited Brendam Docks. Even rusty old Cranky liked Belle. Oh, I like Belle too. Later they visited Knapford Station and Thomas's branch line. It was a wonderful day. Belle was very impressed with everything she saw. You know I like her because I'm impressed with everything I see. Almost. Percy watched Thomas and Belle roll back to the steamworks. He wondered why they hadn't invited him to join them on the tour. Suddenly, Diesel slid up next to him. "Thomas is very busy with that new blue engine," Diesel hissed. Percy's firebox fizzled. "I guess he is." Poor Percy. Belle rolled up and introduced herself to Diesel. "Do the Diesels have a place as grand as the steamworks?" "Our diesel works is not like this at all," Diesel said. "I'd love to visit," Belle puffed. Then Thomas arrived, his rods rattling. "Steamies don't go to the diesel works. It's dark and dirty, and diesels can be devious." Say that 10 times fast. Diesel snorted goodbye and slipped away. The next morning, Sir Topham Hatt gave Percy a special job. "Flynn the fire engine will arrive soon, Percy. This is his hose. Please deliver it safely to the Sodor Search and Rescue Center." Percy puffed away proudly. At the edge of the docks, Diesel oiled up next to him. "I told my friend Diesel 10 about you, Percy. He'd like you to visit the steamworks. You'd be his special guest." Are you kidding me? Pinkie, keep reading. Oh, are you sure, Diesel? Percy peeped. Diesel smiled. I'm very sure, Percy. Percy wasn't sure he should go to Diesel Works. Thomas always said Steamy shouldn't puff there. But Thomas didn't seem to care what Percy did these days. Percy wanted friends who had time for him. He wanted to be a special visitor. So wheel turn by wheel turn, Percy puffed to the Diesel Works. Ooh, it glowed a fiery red in the distance. His axles tingled. Oh, be careful, Percy. Don't let anyone catch you. Diesel 10 met Percy at the door of the Diesel Works.
Hello, Percy,
he boomed.
What an honor. Please come in.
I do a pretty good Diesel 10 voice, don't you agree? The Diesel Works was grimy and filled with clanking furnaces. There were engines Percy knew, like Salty and Mavis, but he met new engines too. Den and Dart ran the Diesel Works and fixed the diesels. Percy wanted them to like him, so he told a joke. What do you call a train that has a cold? No one knew. Gee, I don't know, Percy. A choo-choo train! Percy peeped. All the engines laughed. That's a nice joke, but I don't really think it's that belly-aching funny. Percy was happy that they liked him, but it was getting late. I'd love to stay, but I must puff on, Percy said. I'm supposed to deliver the hose for the new fire engine to the Sodor Search and Rescue Center.
Dart can take care of that for you,
Diesel 10 hissed. Dart uncoupled Percy's flatbed and took it away. Oh, I don't trust Diesel 10 one bit. As all the diesels were being so nice, Percy didn't think it was fair that they should stay in such dirty, dingy place. You should tell Sir Topham Hatt that you need a new Diesel Works, he puffed.
He doesn't listen to diesels, only steamies,
said Diesel 10. That's a lie! Suddenly an idea flew into Percy's funnel. I can ask Thomas to tell Sir Topham Hatt. He always listens to Thomas. Diesel 10 smiled. I don't know about that, Percy. Percy went looking for Thomas. He found him at the steamworks with Flynn, the fire engine. Flynn was bright and red, and everyone was very impressed, especially Thomas. Before Percy could tell Thomas about the Diesel Works, Thomas chugged off to show Flynn around Sodor. He didn't even notice Percy. Well, that's not very nice. Percy's boiler bubbled. He felt very unimportant indeed. You're important to me, Percy. That's official. The next morning, Percy went back to the steamworks. Only Kevin was there, but he was excited to hear all about the Diesel Works. They don't even have a crane, Percy peeped. That's not true. They've got Happy Hook. Victor always says you can't fix an engine without a crane, Kevin said. That's true. Kevin, if you went there, you'd be a hero, Percy puffed. They need you. No, they don't. Kevin liked the idea of being a hero very much. Suddenly, Thomas whooshed in. Percy, I've been looking for you. Flynn's hose is missing. It must be at the Search and Rescue Center, Percy said. A friend delivered it for me. Percy wanted Thomas to ask him who his friend was, but he didn't. Thomas told Percy to find the hose, then steamed away. Suddenly Thomas isn't being the best example of a BFF. Percy searched until nighttime, but he didn't find the hose. Oh, I'm starting to get suspicious. He was starting to worry, but then Percy saw something that really troubled him. Flynn was in his berth in the shed. Now, where have we heard this before? Percy decided not to stay where he wasn't wanted. Percy found Kevin, and together they went to the Diesel Works. The Diesels were very happy to see them. Percy and Kevin stayed all night. Stayed at the Diesel Works all night. Something no Steamy had ever done before. Oh no. The next morning, Percy told the Steamies where he had been all night. Everyone was amazed. Toby gasped. Thomas's firebox fizzled. Victor was angry that Kevin was still at the Diesel Works. "I need Kevin here," Victor raged, then rattled off to see Sir Topham Hatt. Well, geez, I never thought Victor could get that angry. Percy was excited that everyone was finally listening to him. Percy took Thomas to the Diesel Works. Percy was certain that once Thomas saw how dirty and grimy it was, he'd talk to Sir Topham Hatt about the Diesel's troubles. But Diesel 10 had other plans.
"Since Victor is not at the steamworks, we're going to take it over. And we want you to lead us, Percy. You will be our hero."
"No, Percy, don't do it!" Percy felt grander than Gordon and more special than Spencer. He and the Diesels rolled away, leaving behind a very angry Thomas. "Oh, I'd be so angry too!" "Oh, calm down, Pinkie. Keep going." "Oh, sorry." Percy proudly puffed ahead of the Diesels, but when they reached the steamworks, nobody listened to him.
"Out of my way, you silly Stevie!"
Diesel 10 roared.
"The Diesel Works is ours now, and we're not giving it back."
The Diesels roared and raced. They twirled on turntables and biffed into buffers. And worst of all, Diesel 10 said Thomas was their prisoner at the Diesel Works. Oh no! Twilight would be very upset if she heard that. Percy knew he had made a terrible mistake. Thomas was truly his best friend. Oh, about time he noticed that. He had to help him. Percy raced to the Diesel Works and screeched to a stop. Sparks flew up from his wheels and fell on a pile of oily paper. Thomas was nowhere to be found. The paper burst into flames, and the flames spread across the Diesel Works. Now Percy had to put out a fire, too. Oh, you can do it, Percy. I believe in you. Percy raced to the Search and Rescue Center. Fiery Flynn was ready to race to the rescue. But he still didn't have his hose. Of course, Dart didn't deliver the hose, Percy wished. I've been such a silly Steamy. The hose must still be at the Diesel Works. With pistons pumping and bells clanging, clang, 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 Percy and Flynn raced to the fire. Back at the Diesel Works, smoke swirled in the sky. Percy found Din and Dart in an old shed out back, and they were blocking Thomas in. Diesel 10 had told them not to let Thomas go, but they knew they had to help fight the fire. Din and Dart released Thomas. Then Dart showed Percy where he'd hidden Flynn's hose behind the old shed. Well, if Twilight was there, she'd cast a spell on them that would let Thomas go immediately. That for a fact I know. Stay calm, Flynn thundered. There's no cause for alarm. Bill and Flynn faced the fire, and the water flowed fast. The flames hissed and fizzled. Smoke whirled and twirled. Hooray for Flynn, Thomas peeped. Hooray for Bill, peeped Percy. The flames grew smaller and smaller and slowly faded. The Diesel Works was saved. Now it was time to save the steamworks. And here comes my favorite part of the movie. Thomas and Percy knew that friends were strongest when they stick together. As they rolled to the steamworks, they collected their friends, Belle, Edward, Henry, Gordon, James, Toby, and Emily. "What the Diesels have done is wrong," they shouted. "Their trickery must end! You go, Steamies, go! Steam team all the way!" The Diesels were surprised to see the Steamies, but they refused to leave the steamworks. "Taking things and using trickery is wrong," Thomas peeped. "We can help you get a new diesel works, but you have to be fair with us, and we promise not to trick you." Suddenly, Sir Topham Hatt entered the steamworks. He was very, very cross.
"Diesel 10, he said sternly, "you are an engine on my railway. You have caused confusion and delay. Because of you, none of my engines has been really useful."
Diesel 10 whimpered and winced. His claw crumpled. "Not so tough now, are you, Diesel 10? Thomas explained why Diesel 10 had been so bad.
"Of course the Diesels will have a new diesel works," said Sir Topham Hatt. "That was always my plan. Everything takes time, and everyone must wait their turn."
The Diesels and the Steamies worked together to build the new diesel works. Thomas and Percy were happy to work side by side. It's good that they're best friends again. Sir Topham Hatt gave Diesel 10 some extra work to do.
"No engine on my railway behaves as badly as you did,"
said Sir Topham Hatt.
You will put right everything you've damaged at the steamworks, and Kevin will be your boss."
"Well, good luck, Kevin." At last the new diesel works was finished. Everyone came together for the grand opening.
"The new diesel works is special because it shows what can happen when all kinds of really useful engines work together,"
said Sir Topham Hatt. "That is so true indeed."
"You are all very special engines," said
Sir Topham Hatt.
"I am proud of you all."
Percy said he was proudest when he was with Thomas. "That's exactly how I feel when I'm with you," Thomas peeped. The two best friends giggled and jiggled and puffed with joy. The end. Now, when I think about this movie, Percy's the main character in it. I love Percy so much. He's such a fun, funny engine. And that's official. And Kevin got a pretty good part in it too. I especially liked it when he was in the steamworks playing with Happy Hook, even though it's not his place. That's a pretty funny scene, I have to admit. Well, this is Pinkie Pie saying that even though there were some things that were pretty silly in the movie, I love Day of the Diesels! Goodbye, YouTube!